Okay. Hey guys, this is Ming here from agentsofspeech.com. Today we're going to talk about whether your child, does he need speech therapy? Or if yes, then when your child should go to speech therapy. Okay, we go live every Monday night if you're in Asia, or if you're in the USA, then that would be Monday morning. Okay, I'm not sure what time it is in Europe it is right now. Let me just check real quick. Okay, so it's afternoon in Europe. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining. If you're watching this on a recording, just say hi inside the comments and tell me where you're from. And everyone who's watching right now, just let me know where you're from, watching from where. We've got a lot more people joining us over these lives, and I'm very happy about it. Okay, so let's get straight into the topic. Today we're going to talk about when your child should go to when they should go to speech therapy, or do they really need it, right? So the thing about speech therapy is this, okay? A child who is below 2 years old has actually an attention span of a very short period of time. So we have a lot of studies on attention span and so on, right? So if you just go onto Google, right? 2 years old attention span. I'm typing as I'm talking, and I'm actually reading it out, right? So it's actually like a 2-year-old has max 4 to 6 minutes of real attention. Okay, so think about that. If a 2-year-old has attention span of 4 to 6 minutes, and I read a study, adults, we have attention span around 30 minutes max. Other than that, we gotta take a break. So guys, you gotta understand that a lot of times we expect a lot from children, okay? But the thing is, if you bring them to therapy before 2, that's gonna be less than that time. If your child is around 1 year, a year and a half, or whatever, then you think about that. Their attention span wouldn't be even 4 minutes. So you need to keep that in mind, all right? And most of the time, if you're going for an assessment for speech therapy, occupational, whatever therapy, okay, you need to understand that their attention span is awfully low, okay? So I'm gonna say hi to everyone just in case. Hey, Eileen, how are you? 9. Oh, that's so early. So Lilia, Lily from Indonesia, Victoria, cool. Germany, hey, Julie, nice. And Carlton, who's in Maryland, very nice. Welcome, everyone. Anyways, so 1.5 years old, I would say it's a no-go to try and do any therapy, okay? You can have a professional to observe your child before 2, but I think really anything below 2 is quite difficult to do meaningful therapy, okay? And I will talk more about why this is a problem today, okay? The thing about speech therapy or speech assessment, right? There's a lot of, so we do a few things. We do a few things. So don't mind me as I take my drawing board out. I'm just gonna keep talking whilst I do that. Very high tech. We assess a few things. There's speech and language, right? And most of you watching would think, we call it speech delay, but it's actually not really just speech delay, right? It's speech and language delay. So if you know, we cut up the assessment into 2 parts, speech and language, okay? And most of the time, we just call it speech delay, which is kind of untrue, which is, is actually speech and language. So whoever, you guys who have gone through a bunch of, if you've gone through the course that we have, right, then you will know the difference between those 2, okay? And I'm just gonna set up, let me share my screen real quick. I'll take out my whiteboard. If you guys can see it, that's cool. All right, you guys can see it. So there's speech and language, right? So as we do an assessment, we're doing either or both together. So most of the time when a child doesn't talk, doesn't hand pull, they pull your hand or hand guide, whatever, everyone is calling it. If they cannot make eye contact, or they can't call you, they don't care if they don't know how to answer questions, those are a language problem. Okay, it's a language problem. All right, so most of the time it's a language problem. What is a speech problem? Okay, speech problem is articulation. All right, how it's pronounced. All right, sorry if I'm making spelling mistakes and my handwriting is awful or whatever. Okay, so within language, there's expressive and receptive. Okay, and why I'm talking about these things, right? Why I'm talking articulation, expressive, receptive, whatever, is that you need to make a distinction between these two. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna have to make this. Oopsies, what am I doing? All right, I need to delete all of this. Let me see how to delete all of this. Never mind. I need to go back. Cool. So I need to make a new one. Yeah. So for children who are below 2 years old, you don't really need to do a lot of speech sounds. Like, you don't need to do a lot of speech because they're still developing, right? They're still learning how to talk. So a lot of times you hear a lot of baby talk. Oops, what did I do this time? Okay, baby talk. Right? You hear a lot of baby talk, and maybe like 50% of it you can't understand. You cannot understand. I'll draw a year here, and like you can't understand that. So usually before 2 years old, we cannot do a lot of speech, doing articulation, right? Fixing the pronunciation. Why? Because their attention span is like 4 minutes. So how are we gonna sit them down, make them sit down and drill? Like a lot of the times when we do articulation is drilling. So if you're learning how to like, I will make it smaller, man. Let's go. Oh, I can do that. If we're teaching someone to, for instance, a lot of like some children at like 2, they cannot do the F sound, right? It becomes what we call a P. Sorry with the silly symbols, occupational. What do you call that? It's just my occupational stuff. I use it by accident. It's just by second nature. Anyways, so some people will say this, right? Which is like, for instance, if they say 4, it will become like paw, right? Or ball, or B. Doesn't matter what it is. So this thing we call like stopping, right? Plus fronting, I guess. No, not really. Just stopping. So given this, we cannot make a 2-year-old sit down with us and learn the F sound. It's impossible. It's impossible. So that's why when we're doing speech therapy, it's actually called, what we really should call it should be language therapy. So we're doing this, all right? And this is what we're focusing on children who are coming our way at like 2 to 3 years old. All right, we hardly do any speech, like articulation stuff. The reason is because you need to sit them down and, and really go through the sounds, like which they have or which they have not, right? Which is very difficult. I mean, you gotta make them wanna stay with you, like make them feel like they're wanted, make them feel like they're rewarded and so on. It's very hard. It's very hard. Whereas language is totally different. So language, we're working on like commands, doing gestures, playing, right? We're doing these for language, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing right now. I'm going to keep talking. Cool? So cool. A lot more people here. Great. Cassie from Malaysia. Hello. Rhodes from Rods, is it? From Philippines. And then Lourdes from Philippines as well. Great. So someone asked, is it okay to take speech therapy and behavioral therapy at the same time? Just let me finish about like what I'm about to say about speech therapy, and then I'll talk about ABA, okay? So the thing about like, now that you know, like most of the time when a child goes there, let's say that they're around 2, and then you see like that they're not speaking with like 2-word sentences. That's like the telltale sign that they might be a little late at 2. So I know that if you search online, Milestones of speech or language, right? You get like this whole chart that you can just do on Google. But the thing is, when someone comes to me, right, they say, "Oh, my kid at 2, do they need an assessment?" And I ask, "Can they talk? Can they speak in one word at a time? Can they add like 2 words and make a phrase or a sentence or whatever?" Then that's something you have to be careful, because at 2, your child should be starting to, like, obviously they need to use words, right? They need to use specific words for specific things, okay? And then at the same time, they need to be able to use some 2-word phrases, like "mommy eat," eat strawberry, and that strawberry is too hard. Maybe eat apple, something like that. So at 2, sometimes the bar is set quite high, okay? But actually, if you interact with like typically developing children at 2, they're speaking very well, especially now, because we have so much video, so much language input, so much just higher expectations. Like nowadays, if you want to get into the kindergarten, I asked the kindergarten teacher, a friend of mine, and then she said, "Oh, what should you prepare for a kindergarten interview? Who's your favorite author? Like, what's your favorite book? Come on." They're like just barely 3, right? It's nearly impossible for children to get into kindergarten if they are language delayed, So I really don't like that. Anyways, so by the time they are 2, they're supposed to do this, right? So if by 2 they cannot speak in like a word one at a time, that they can reference different things with different words. Okay, they don't call like mama for everything. They call it like, "Oh, that's a cup, that's a TV, that's a shoe." Then great, okay. And if they cannot use like 2-word phrases, then yes, go get a speech and language assessment from a speech therapist, right? Go try it out. Go see what they say. Go listen to the assessment results and then come back, right? So at 2, I think that's the good time to actually do some assessments. And before that, don't do it, because it's hard and it feels like you're not getting your money's worth, because the kid's like just rolling around. They can't even sit for a long time, because children, they really start to enjoy sitting at 3, because their muscles are starting to build up. It might sound crazy, but actually sitting down takes muscles. So I'm sure because you're a mother, right, or a father who has a kid who's watching this. If you're not, then you're probably a therapist who knows the developmental milestones, like rolling over, being able to sit up straight, and then being able to sit on a chair for an extended period of time. That takes a lot of muscles, So by the time, if that's the case at 2, then go get a speech therapist and take a look, right? And another sign is that, they're hand guiding, or, pulling your hand towards stuff at 2. I think that's already not very acceptable, especially if they don't talk. They don't talk and they just pull you silently, or they make noise like like that. And that's not cool as well. Okay, so you should see a speech therapist at around 2. Okay, as your child grows up at 3, what's the the risk factors I look at? It's very, very simple. A 3-year-old should be able to do like 2 to 3 word phrases, being able to answer who questions, where questions. And at the same time, they start like when they talk, their speech is around 70% accurate. You can pick up some errors, but you understand what they're saying. Then it's cool by 3. Okay, our bar isn't set that high. If your child at 3 doesn't do these things, then go get a speech therapist to do a language assessment, right? And what if you don't have these resources? You would ask me, well, there's a lot of resources online. You're watching one of them, like me, right? You don't need to listen to me only. You can go online and check it out. And I know it's very confusing. Like some people say this, some people say that, and I'm leaning towards the behavioral therapy thing. Okay, don't worry. So I would very encourage everyone to start speech therapy at like around 2 to 2.5, and then after that, obviously, yes, please go get it checked up if you can. All right. So where was I again? Yeah. So going online, looking for information is a good idea. Joining a group like you guys are inside of our group, that's great. And also, checking out our micro course doing some selfless promotion here, but it's cool. We've got like 1,000 plus parents inside who have learned a lot. You can read the stories about how they learn about removing or reducing hand pulling and so on, and learning to actually initiate communication. All right. So the thing about speech therapy is not to teach the actual words. Of course we have, right? Of course we are, but we're teaching what we call a language use, right? We're teaching them to learn about like play. Okay. So as you can see in speech therapy, we do a lot of play. Okay. We use play as a tool, as a context for children to learn about the world, and therefore we can add language to it. The thing about what a lot of parents are doing is that you guys, or you, I don't know, maybe you're not, maybe you've gone through the micro courses already, so is that you will teach the word instead of teaching the context. Okay, that's why the hand pulling still occurs, because they don't know when to use the word. They don't know why they have to use the word. They don't understand that talking is easier than screaming and pulling you, right? So speech therapy does that a lot more. Okay, and whereas behavioral therapy, I'm going to talk about it here. Okay, should you go to behavioral therapy? I would say don't go to behavioral therapy, or what we call ABA, if your child isn't on the spectrum. Okay, the reason why I say that is because ABA is suited for children on the spectrum, and a lot of people will say, hey, ABA causes trauma, ABA causes PTSD in children, and it's really bad for the child's psychology and whatnot. I have never seen a child who have gone through ABA and have become traumatized. Okay, I know in the world, as I was talking in another live video, or even just in speech therapy, right? Or what I'm trying to say is that in the job, in the world, there are plumbers who are great, plumbers who are not that great, plumbers who just downright don't do the job at all, right? That's the same for any industry. So you can see that in speech therapy, you can see that in ABA, you can see that in a lot of things. So you just have to be on the lookout and try to find like testimonials, like listen to other mothers, fathers, and then if they can convince you, right, then by all means try it. If it's totally just bad and you see no results, then stop, obviously, right? So that's the thing, like about behavioral therapy and speech therapy. The biggest I think now, okay, because I've done both, all right, the biggest discrepancy, or like the biggest difference, is that one focus on the what's, right? That's ABA, that's behavioral therapy. What do you know? Like, what are your behaviors like? Everything is observed, right? What? Okay, speech therapy is more about how, okay? Because we don't see kids every day. We see them once a week, and we have to teach the parents about why and how we need to do this like that. But ABA is more like a matter of fact, get it done, like a what, right? Keep on teaching new content, right? Make them understand like what behavior is about, instead what behavior is like wanted in an environment, rather than teaching them why it's not to be accepted, So therefore, it's very different in a way. So do I recommend it? I don't know. It depends on the child. Can you do it together? Yes. And you should find a place where they understand each other. Because, when I was a behavioral therapist, my colleagues would take a speech therapist's assessment report and then just basically poop on it. Like I can't find a better word for it. They basically just said, hey, that's not a good assessment about a child. They don't know anything about the kid, and then fast forward to when I got my master's and I became a speech therapist, my boss would look at the ABA stuff and then just poop on it too. And to be frank, I've seen very, very like I have a lack of vocabulary to how bad some of the ABA people create a syllabus. I don't think that is the best thing to do for children. And I'm not going to disclose what name, because obviously there are great ABA centers. There are great therapists who do a great job. I'm just saying that in particular, for that particular client, it wasn't very good. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, so today's great subject is, when should you go for speech therapy? I mean, not for you, but for your child. The answer is at least 2, because their attention span cannot persist. Okay, and most of all, is quite difficult to get a child to do your bidding, do our bidding, if they don't, if they cannot even sit upright for a very long time, or or they get disinterested and tired very quickly. Okay, so hi guys, hello, hi, Madalena. Oh, well, hi, how are you? So Jasmine, hello. She says, question. Word word is the starting a child talking. He is a boy. I have no idea what that means. Question, like is a word. You mean is a word? I don't understand what you mean here. Sorry, man. Could you please elaborate a little bit? Sorry. Okay. Cool. So Israt, sorry if I'm getting your name totally wrong. My son is 25 months old and totally nonverbal, can't even say a word. Yeah, please see a speech therapist for that. That would be the best idea, because you can ask me a lot of things, but without me seeing the kid straight on physically, I cannot really grasp what's going on with the kid. Okay, obviously I'm here to give like fast advice, and if you need to, if you want to, and if you can, that is, you can join our micro course. Okay, the link is in the description or in the title. You can go there and check it out. All right. Right. So not even mama, papa. I don't know. I don't know why. Okay. And if your child is pulling your hand, then start teaching them gestures instead of teaching them to talk. Okay. What does that mean? He only makes some repetitive words. What does that mean? Okay. Cool. So Jasmine said he is talking mama di only. I hope he can talk soon. I always teaching him. Okay. So I don't know if these are words or not, man. I mean, sometimes like if is very is talking about like your phone all the time, it's always referring to that, then it's a word, right? And if like mama is about you and only about you, then it's a word. But if they use it for everything, if your child, right, he uses mama for everything, then it's not a word. Okay? So yeah, you can teach them how to talk. But for you, Jasmine and Israt, I really think that you guys should teach the gestures instead. And this is something that is universal across all speech therapy, and that we all believe in something what we call pre-linguistic skills. Okay, so how do you spell that? So like PRE, linguistic as in language. Okay, so pre-linguistic skills. Okay, skills that they need to learn before language develops, basically. Cool. So yeah, one of them, which is a huge part of it, is gestures. So Israt says he made some repetitive sounds only. Cool. So if that's the case, then maybe that's just babbling. Most probably, I might be wrong. I don't know. I haven't seen your child, but teach gestures. Do not skip gestures. In fact, it's very important, super important. No matter if just now I was talking about speech or language case, gestures help. Gestures help a lot. And the reason why is because, if they have a way of speaking, like not speaking, but telling you what they want, right, with their gestures, then they won't have a lot of the frustrations, all of the the frustrations of not getting their message across, right? Cool stuff. So Joyce says, my daughter can only speak depends on their mood. How can I teach her to communicate with me? So yeah, if your child speaks with you depending on the mood, then they can speak that they don't know how to use it correctly, right? So you need to have a reason for them to talk to you, obviously. And the fastest way is with rewards, something that they really want, and they come to you and they talk to you, right? So I hear this a lot, Joyce. I hear a lot of parents will say, oh, it's up to their mood, right? But, it's not about that. It's about what you have for them. And some of the times it's because parents, like yourself, maybe I might be wrong, okay? But I've seen enough to know that, sometimes the children don't want to talk, and you keep on saying like, what do you want? Say whatever, and whatever. And it's difficult. It's difficult for the child because it's stressful, okay? So the mood thing, you can solve it by using rewards first, and then slowly you can teach them play and whatever, and then they will talk to you in a conversational manner, okay? So Jasmine says, oh, thank you. Yeah, no problem, no problem. So let me know if I can help you more, Jasmine. Like, I understand what's going on. It's right, some gestures. He gets hurt, they say, very loudly. He can do anything, I say, yay, good job. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, what I mean is the gestures, he has to do it, not only you, okay? Like, he has to do it. Like, for instance, if he wants to open the door, he needs to go open, like that. So if you go through the micro course, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's kind of difficult to go through it in a live video. It'll take forever, right? So Rohanna says, sorry, where do I live? Oh, okay. So basically, guys, I'm not open for during the pandemic. I am currently living in Indonesia. Okay, and in Indonesia, I think it's pretty unsafe to open shop. And this is not the reason why I'm here. And I've been doing this well before the pandemic, teaching parents online. Okay. If you can, Rohanna, right? Rohanna, please do find someone like in your local community. Okay. It's anything is better than nothing. Okay. I'm really flattered that a lot of parents wouldn't mind coming over to me from another country as well. But truth be told, like speech therapy is getting more and more popular, and a lot of good therapists out there. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that don't come, right? But I'm just not open. The only thing I do is online courses, right? So the easiest one right now is the micro one. You can join it, see if you like it or not, and then if it's too much for you, then then don't do it. Find someone to do it for you. But at the end of the day, you're the best therapist for your kid. You're the one who's 24 hours with them, right? I'm sorry to hear that, Frank. Yeah, please do, Joyce. Please do what we were talking about. Yeah, it's right. I think you should really teach the gestures. Make him do it. All right. If you can, just go through the micro course. It'll be easier. Tell us about your speech there. Oh, okay. Well, you can just go there and read it. Right? I mean, it's just like 10 different small videos telling you about like all the most frequently asked questions, like, oh, what if my kid doesn't have eye contact? What if we talk like 2 to 3 languages at home? What if my child pulls my hand and leads me there? What if there's alien language and babbling, whatever? Like I go through the most frequently asked questions online and offline. So there, it just changes your mindset about it. That's the biggest thing about the micro course. It changes your mind. There's no like basic information you can find on the internet, right? I see some speech therapists doing that, saying, oh, go down to the level, talk to them, talk as if talk as if you're giving a commentary, letting the child lead your play. I don't talk about that stuff, but I want to change your mind about why children are talking at their own like mood or whatever, right? Because you're not inviting them to talk. You're making it stressful. You keep on repeating stuff. And that's not your fault. You just need to change how you're doing it. All right. So Israt says, follow. Oh, okay. Well, the thing, that's good. That's good. That's good. You're trying this, right? But the thing is does he want it, right? Does he want it? And plus, the thing is, you cannot just do it once and hopefully he will do it, right? You're showing it, he needs to do it himself. Like, you need to grab his hand and do it and then give it to him, right? And the best thing to start off with the open hand gesture. Like if he really wants the potato chips, he will try to grab it and then you turn it around and give it to him. You need to do it enough times for free, okay? For free. And you hear that? there's no, like, you need to give them so much stuff for free that they want to listen to you. And, it works for anything, for teaching children, doing this online with you. This is something free, right? I'm telling you so much free stuff so that it's easy for you to understand, and you want to take action with your child. All right. And therefore, maybe you will join us on the course or something. So that doesn't really matter. So you need to, why is he interested? Is because there's only two reasons if you watch all the videos. Number one, he doesn't want to, or he doesn't know how to. So solve those two problems, right? The don't know how to, do it for him. He doesn't even need to think. He can be blank. He can be like, and then the want to, make sure that the chips, he wants it, right? Okay. Okay, he only dragged me to the thing, give him open, but not talking. Copy it and words and actions. There's no pointing also. Okay. Hey, Jasmine, truthfully speaking, if you're in the micro course, go watch it, go join it, because there's a whole video. Video 5 is all about that. Okay. Oh, hi, Vivi. Didn't call me mama while looking at you. He just say mama when he want. Yeah, again, Vivi, I think you're inside of our course. Follow it. Do the gestures first. Okay. And to all of you guys, he cannot copy. Yeah, don't need a copy. Take his hand and do it, and then reward him. Okay. How can I send star? I don't understand send star. What does that mean? It's right. To be honest, there are loads of very, very good therapists in UK. Okay. Doesn't need to be me. Doesn't need to be like anyone. Like, I'm pretty sure UK has one of the best speech therapists, right? I'm not even joking. You can find one. It's some of it is even for free from the NHS. Okay. How much time should you spend talking to your child? Does word book help? Well, the time you should spend talking to your child should be nearly nonstop. It should be nearly nonstop. So like we have a study like within the speech therapy community. We have a study saying that what we call language facilitation. And of course you can Google that or just watch from our YouTube or whatever about what language facilitation is, right? We say that at least 3 hours a day, okay? At least 3 hours a day. It might be wrong. I might be wrong now. It might be updated or I might have forgot. But it's inside of like 2 to 3 hours, that kind of span. And you don't need to do it in like one go. You can, as long as you're talking and you're interacting and you're giving your child enough language modeling, I think it's fine. Okay. Word books, I don't know. Sometimes it depends on the kid. They like it, then they like it. They don't like it, then whatever. Always start with, does the child want it or are interested in it? You cannot sell a book. You feel like a salesman, at times when you're introducing a toy or a book, right? So always go for the lowest hanging fruit, as we always say, right? Go for the things that your child wants. So it's not a hard sell. It's easy to sell, and then it's easy to get them interested because they want it. And then afterwards you can talk and they'll be interested. Easy, right? So Ko Yen, what's up? Well, the make sound part is that children who are delayed, they haven't made the connection between making a sound and getting what they want yet, right? So when you are doing the gestures part, yeah, which is very good, by the way. Thank you for trusting me. I know I did a lot of convincing for you, but the gestures. Now he can do open palm, right? Can he do other stuff? So like open, I don't know, like lights, whatever. You need to teach him more, right? You teach him more stuff. Ready? And I would say that the reason why is because they haven't made the link yet, or else they'll be talking all the time, and it's hard for them to make sounds intentionally. I would say it's hard for them to do it intentionally. All right, that's why it's hard. When they wake up, they make sound. They can do whatever sound they want, but when talking is very specific. The sound's very. Michael Kors, isn't that a brand? Sorry. Yeah, that really sucks. I mean, like, Israel, if you can, then join the course first. It'll be like me helping my colleagues in the United Kingdom to fill in for the information. Hopefully, we're on the same boat as a therapist there. Like, my philosophies are on the same boat. Hopefully, that's what I mean. Okay, so Hui Yun. Sorry if I screwed up your name. So instead of keep asking back, what do you want? Can you tell me? Okay. Right. Yeah, like what I mean is a lot of parents, they, like, maybe you, okay? You are very passive, right? The kid comes up to you and then they keep on saying like they keep on telling you they want something from you. Like, they're pulling you, they're trying to grab you, they're trying to climb up the counter. But then what do you do in return? You ask them, like, hey, what do you want, man? What do you want? You gotta tell me. What do you say? That's kind of hard. I mean, like, that's frustrating. If I wanted something really bad and I didn't speak the language and they kept on asking questions to me when it's very obvious what I want, anyone would be mad. Okay, so instead you need to take initiative. Like, if you know what he wants already, put it in his face and then teach him how to get it from you, which is gestures, right? If he wants like the candies from you, it makes logical sense to take the candy and teach him the appropriate way to tell you what he wants. Okay, instead of when he does want it, he keeps on like does everything he knows, like crying, whatever, stomping the ground, and then you keep on asking, right? So it's frustrating for the kid. I don't know, Joyce. I have no idea. I've never been to Philippines. I'm just gonna tell you that. Hey, Sita, how are you? Ashley says, how long would you suggest on screen time for a 23-month-old boy? He can speak one word at a time, but very few to now. Should I stop him from watching TV? He watches all the time. I always say screen time should be a very, like, just minimum, as little as you can if he is alone, okay? If you're with him, then of course you can teach them, you can pause it, you can talk together, you can have fun, okay? So don't leave him unattended when he's watching TV. That's what I mean. But I know that sometimes we all use TV as a way to get our own time back. Okay, I don't understand totally yet because I'm not a parent. I'm sure when it happens, when I have a kid, I'm gonna love giving my son the TV or daughter. Okay, yeah, keep it at the minimum if you can. Then watch it with him. Okay. Strat says, you like bubbles, bring it to me, then I make bubbles and say pop, and he pops it, doesn't say. Right, teach these verbs, teach verbs, okay? Pop is one of them, that's cool. So open, right? Open the thing, right? And then take, and then blow, right? Blow can be like that, doesn't matter. It needs to be culturally sensitive, all right? I don't know how you would do it. So you can make up those gestures. You can just search online, sign language for blow, and simplify it, whatever. And then just help him do it, and then do the action, right? So take his hand, open, okay, take, okay, and then like blow, take his hand, blow, okay, blow, like that. So do it many, many times until he understands it. Okay, well he's pretty on point, I would say, Ashley. I don't think your child has a big problem, actually. Cool. Do you have colleagues in? No. Well, I do have. I know a few speech therapists, but they're, it's against regulation of the UK to give you like a direct name, and I don't want to do that. Like, if you want to go private, search online, look at forums. I cannot. I've never worked in the UK. I've never worked anywhere other than in Hong Kong and here in Indonesia. So the best bet is to, like, you cannot go through me. Like, it would be against regulations to do so. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the thing about like speech therapy. In this country I'm living in, doesn't matter. I can, people can refer to me however they want. But in UK, and I don't want to break it. I don't want people to say things about, our brand here on Agents of Speech and say that, dude, I'm siphoning people to certain therapists. I don't want to do that. So please understand where I'm coming from, okay? My daughter is 5 years old, only one word to speak, and write her own name, memorize all numbers. Okay. Yeah, of course she's able to talk, right? She's able to talk in one word. Of course she has a chance of to speak and to make a conversation with you. And she's smart enough to memorize all the numbers, right? So the thing about it is to teach her to interact with you, not about the whats, because she already know a lot of the whats and the nouns, right? And a lot of content inside of her mind. So the thing about it is to get her to learn how to talk to you, right? How to use the words. And the best thing for 5-year-olds is play, right? Go search on our YouTube channel or just on Facebook or something. Go to like on Facebook page as Ming Feng, right? My name. And on YouTube is Agents of Speech, right? And then go look at the playlist for play skills, all right? Teach her to use those words and make longer sentences like that, all right? Yeah, as I told you, cannot do that. Yeah, great stuff. Whoa, nice. Thank you for the super chat. I never knew this was something like this. Thank you so much. Is it Jasmine? Jasmine Kyle. Thank you. Okay, so how to limit TV time? The thing is, if you want to limit TV time, what you got to do is to teach the child how to play with toys by themselves, and that starts off with you playing with the child with toys. As I told you, go to the YouTube channel and look at how to do play. Okay, but to do play, you gotta make sure that your child wants to play with you and views you as a resource. That's why I made the micro course, so that children, like parents, will know how to like use rewards to get them to like you and want to interact with you and make it easy for them and so on, right? Great, Jasmine. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, please teach him verbs. Thank you, Jasmine. That's really nice of you. I'm very happy for that. Very happy. Thank you. Sita says, my child watches cartoon in English and we speak in Nepali. I sometimes mix two languages while talking to them. Is this having a problem? There is a problem, is because like if you mix the two languages, if it's, don't do it in the same sentence. I always say this, so don't say in the same sentence. I grew up in both Chinese and English, right? And we do it all the time where we like mix English and Chinese in the same sentence, and it's kind of stupid, especially for children who are learning language, right? If you put two together, then how are they going to understand that those are two different languages with two different rules? Okay, so it's fine if you mix it, but don't mix it in one sentence or in one what we call utterance, right? Finish what we're saying in one language, and then you can change to another language if you want to. A lot of parents will say, hey, is it because of like 2 to 3 languages in the household, therefore this is a problem? No, man, definitely not. If a child is speech and language delayed, they're delayed as a whole. They have they are slower in acquiring language. And acquiring language is across all languages. It's not about the number of languages. Obviously, that's going to make everything slower, because if you try to learn 2 languages at once, it's going to be slower. But nowadays, in our world, 2 to 3 languages in one household is very, very, very natural, very normal, in fact. Just talk about me and my wife. It's already very different. Our only common language that we can use all the time together is actually English, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of people here, a lot of moms and dads here, like you, are having like 2 to 3 languages at home, right? Just myself, I've got Indonesian, English, Cantonese, and Mandarin, which are 2 different like types of Chinese. So we've got 4 already if we were to have a kid, So I think it's wildly okay to have different languages at home, and you can't stop it anyways, right? So don't mix it up in the same utterance, okay? And make sure you start talking about something, you finish it off with that language, and then change. All right. Hey, thank you for your trust. Thank you. All righty. Sadia says, hello, my son is 3.3 years old. She speaks in words and not long phrases. Should I wait or should I go ahead with speech therapy? Yes, go ahead and speech therapy. Dude, only speaks with words by 3. 2 definitely need a speech therapy. Oh, thanks, Jasmine. You can do me a favor, and if you haven't, I think you have joined the micro course already. if you're inside, I'm very grateful for that already. This is not to make, a whole bunch of money. It's not about that, just to get it straight. So yeah, you go ahead with speech therapy, right? And then how to help them at home. Obviously, if you go to speech therapy, listen to the therapist and do what they say. Okay, if you have any questions about what the therapist says, obviously there are, not so great therapists, and there are absolutely amazing therapists out there. Then tell us here on the lives. Tell us in the Facebook group, right? If you don't know our Facebook group, this is our Facebook group here, right? If you're on Facebook, you don't know my YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for Agents of Speech, right? And you will see me. Okay, and tell us what your therapist has been saying to you, and if it makes sense or not. You can ask us. You can ask other parents. There are loads of parents who are going through the same thing as you. So you should not wait. You should go ahead. Okay, how to help them at home? Join the micro course if you want to, and listen to your therapist. See what they say. Okay, her or she, whatever. Candace, hi Candace. My son is 34 months old. Instead of saying I want milk, he would say, do you want milk? Okay, so you won't stop saying that until I say, do you want milk? And he would say yes. If we go outside, he will say, do you want to play inside? I want to play. Okay, is this language delay? Yes. There's different. He's definitely using the question form incorrectly. Okay, so how to deal with this is to, you can do either two things. Number one, after you ask the question, give the answer right away so that he knows there's two parts to this thing, right? If you say, do you want milk? Yes, I want milk. Just say it, okay? Number two, which is the easier one, is to model what you need your child to say, okay? It's confusing for children if they don't understand the question form. So don't ask, right? That's the easiest way to do it. Once they understand what they are expected of to do, right? So let's say that you don't know a foreign language, and we're blessed because we can already speak. We already understand language. So when someone asks us a question, right, our tone goes up, right? So even if you don't understand the language, you will know they're asking a question. But for children, that's not the case. When your intonation goes up, they find it funny, right? They find it funny. I have a kid. One of the first clients I had in Jakarta was that whenever he fell down, like your son, right? He would say, are you okay? Obviously, it's because the mom kept on modeling, are you okay to him when he fell down. So the same as you, Candace, you must have been modeling, do you want milk? Do you want to go play? That kind of thing. Stop asking questions and then just tell him what he should be saying. Once he knows what he should be saying, you can then change it back into the question form, right? So if he says, I want to go play. Oh, you want to go play? Okay, cool. Okay, you can go play. That is much more natural to teach a kid how to talk. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up tonight. It's been a wild ride. Thank you guys for tuning in and just hanging out with me on Monday nights. And answering your questions are great, are nice. It's very good. I would say I enjoy it a lot. And basically now we're on Agents of Speech. What we're trying to do is to create courses that will help parents more than just these lives, right? If you go through that stuff that we have there already, it's much easier to ask better questions. For instance, Candace was talking about this thing, right? About the child speaking in question form. If you knew not to ask questions, if they don't understand questions, then your question would not come up. All right, so let me wrap this up for people who have joined later on. Our topic today is when you should go to speech therapy. Obviously, it should be not obvious, obviously, or else why would I be talking about this? So after 2 is the better age. Okay, 2 to 2.5. And why I say this, because of attention span, number 1, number 2, it's just more stuff to look at. Okay, and then why would you bring them? Basically, if there are 2, they must be using words. They must be. All children should be using words across all cultures. They should at least be referring to things in specific terms, okay? And I would still go for a speech assessment if your child isn't at 2 using some sort of 2-word phrases, okay? That's what I would see, okay? If they don't know how to answer questions, especially like what we call binary choices, like choices between 2, like do you want apple or banana? They say apple, banana, then yeah, go see a speech therapist, right, at 2. If they're at 3-year-olds should be talking at, at the very least, 2-word phrases. They should be doing 3-word sentences, okay? Sometimes well-formed, sometimes not, doesn't matter. They should be speaking 70% accurate for all speech sounds. You can understand what they're saying, but there are errors which are okay, right? At 3, if they don't understand questions like who and where, for instance, who's wearing glasses? This guy, Ming, right? Who is wearing the red shoes? I don't know, mom, okay? If they cannot answer that, they don't understand, then it's difficult, right? Where questions? Where is the remote right now? Like, where's the remote? Can you find me? Oh, it's on the counter. If they cannot answer that, yes, bring them to a speech therapist. Let them have a speech and language assessment, okay? So that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and really enjoyed all the comments. So if you could do me a favor and share it and share this live to other people. And if you haven't, subscribe on YouTube and also join our Facebook group. Okay, join our Facebook group. And we do this every Monday night, and then you can ask anything you want, right? If you're in the micro course, then even better, because you can ask high quality questions like, who's that? Like Ku Yen just now. That was a lot better than the starting questions that she had, right? Like this one, it's great, it's good. So check that out, and then and that's all I have tonight. If you have a question, which I see 2 more, if you have a question, then type it, okay? Carlton, where do I live? I live in Indonesia right now, okay? I live there, and it's very scary here, I'm telling you. Anyways, so that's it for tonight, guys. I will see you next week. If you have any more questions, type them in the comments section so that I can get back to you after this live, okay? If you're watching a recording, that is. So see you and have a great afternoon, night, or morning, and bye-bye.